Here we are going to look at the distance covered by an object in the tth second. Let me give a little bit of background. When we were looking at objects moving under uniform acceleration, and we obtained three equations of motions. One of the equation that we obtained was